So shall we start our program?
Yeah, sure.
Okay. So my first question to you is, can you please tell a bit about ECC?
ECC is Engineers CAD Center Private Limited.
Yeah.
We started this in 1994. We are into training civil and mechanical engineers. For civil engineers, we have courses like AutoCAD, STAT, ETABS, SAP, SAFE, 3ds Max, Revit, Primavera, quantity surveying, etc. And for mechanical engineers, we have AutoCAD, Pro Engineer, which is called as Creo now, and we have ANSYS, Mesh. We have these kind of courses. And we have started this in 1994, and ours is the first CAD institute to start vertical CAD courses. AutoCAD was started by other institute earlier, but to start the vertical courses, in the vertical segment, we were the first ones in India to start these courses. And since 1994, we have trained more than 1.2 lakh students in civil, mechanical and architectural engineering areas. And now we are entering into 25th year we will complete. So on September 3rd, 2019, we are going to celebrate our Silver Jubilee. And so we are going to complete 25 years in another few days. So that's all about ACC.
I guess there is some program we are starting on our 25th anniversary.
Yeah.
So can you please tell about that program and who are the beneficiaries for that program?
Yeah. I'll tell you. This program, because we have started 25 years back, we thought what best we can offer as a package. We thought to start with, let us start with civil engineers. Because the job opportunities are more for civil engineers right now. The number of unemployed students and the number of jobs are same. The problem for not getting a job for civil engineers is, it's not the unemployment problem or something like that. Jobs are there. You know, they are not equipped with the skills that are required for the job. So, you know, it's not like mechanical engineering. Mechanical engineering jobs are less. Candidates are there. But for civil engineering, jobs and number of students that are, you know, coming out every year are same. Because construction industry and infrastructure industry is booming. In any developing country, infrastructure will be booming. So which will create a lot of jobs for civil engineers. So when we see the fate of civil engineers right now, they are getting degrees. And they do some courses also, you know, computer courses also. Like mere doing a computer course will not get them a job. They have to have the skills on fundamentals basically. Because you have to get through the interview. If you have to get through the interview, you should be strong in fundamentals. So we are coming up with a program where we train the engineers, civil engineers, on what exactly is required for a civil engineer to get through the interview. So that is what we are focused. So if they do this course, this package, they can 110% if they study well, you know, spending 2 to 3 months of time, they can 110% get through the interviews. So the main focus is how to make a civil engineer employable. So that's a package which we are introducing on September 3rd as a Silver Jubilee offer.
And what is the module of this package?
Here we have 8 contents, 8 subject contents. I'll tell all the subject contents one by one. The first one is frequent class of engineering questions in structural engineering. Like if you are targeting for a job of design engineer, you know, some advertisement is there, like, you know, we need design engineers, you know, structural designers. Generally they take BTech people and also some MTech structures. So if you go for any structural job, what questions they ask? So this is what is our main focus. So we have listed some 100 questions, right from strength of materials to theory of structures to practical designs of beams, columns, slabs and footings by using SP16 and all. So we have framed some 100 important questions. So this is the first module. Frequently asked interview questions for design engineers. That's module 1. Module 2, some people will not be interested in design jobs because it's more of theoretical thing. You know, they should have a lot of book knowledge. Always the design engineer should have book knowledge. There is nothing much difference between the theoretical knowledge and practical as far as design job is concerned. So whatever they have studied in the BTechs, textbooks, the same will be there. But the method they do will be shortcut methods will be there. So, but when you see the job of site engineer, they don't have much exposure in the BTech. because visiting sites, visiting construction sites and understanding is not there as a part of BTech. So we have some 100 questions for the students where we teach them questions and also we teach them answers also.
Okay.
It's not like we give 100 questions and leave them, So, we have 100 questions for civil engineers and site engineers. So that is module 2. So if they learn these questions and answers, they can attend any job and get to the job of site engineer. That is module 2. Module 3. Some people will be targeting a job of civil engineer in office. That means they will be majorly focusing on estimating and costing and quantity surveying. For that kind of people, in general civil engineering, focusing primarily on estimating and costing and quantity surveying, we have framed some 100 questions on that.
Okay.
Frequent asked interview questions on quantity surveying and estimating. That is inside of his job. So this is module number 3.
Okay.
Module 4 will cover, will be covered in 1 and 2. But these are the questions which primarily anybody will be getting from codes.
Okay.
If you see BTech, they will learn IS codes. But if you see the amount of time they spend to learn these codes, if you add up all the time that they spend in third year and final year, it will be hardly 1 hour, 2 minutes, 3 minutes, 5 minutes, 10 minutes, half an hour. So they are not using the codes rigorously. We have framed questions on codes because once you join a job of design engineer, your primary job is based on the codes only. Your job is, will be going around codes. You have to refer codes every minute. So we have some questions formed on IS 456, IS 875, that is part 1, 2, 3, dead loads, live loads and wind loads, and then IS 1893, earthquake analysis. So we have framed some important questions on these codes, and also we'll be covering how to refer SP16 and how to refer SP22 also. So we'll be covering these things as module 4. So these are the 4 modules. And coming to module 5, we teach StartPro. I'll tell you what is the difference between what we teach and what others teach or what the students learn outside. If the student takes StartPro training generally, anywhere, they learn some basics and they take small buildings, basically small buildings which are not larger in size, and they do the analysis and design and they complete the course. But when you go to reality, a large plan is given, the flats will be more and the plan will be complex. So when they see that A0 size plan, big plan, in a tower, 20-25 story tower, they'll get confused. They can't even draw the plan. First they have to draw the plan in STAT, and then they have to apply boundary conditions and then loads and then analysis and then design. So they cannot draw the plan first because the plan is so huge and complex. All the beams and columns will not be so simple like the students learn during the training. So we take a real project, real-time project, and we tell them, explain them how to draw that basically in AutoCAD or directly also in STAT, how to bring the plan from AutoCAD to STAT, and then how to analyze and design, including documentation. Documentation means once you have done the project, you should be able to present it in the way anybody can understand. The column positions or beam positions or anything. One should be able to make some drawings with beam numbers and column numbers and then immediately present the analysis results and then the design results. So this is for documentation. So till the documentation, right from drawing the plan, we teach the plan in STAT A to Z in a more realistic way. That is completely practical approach. So that's what we teach as module number 5. STAT for one project, real-time project A to Z. And coming to module 6, the same thing, whatever I've said, the same thing will be done in ETABS.
From designing till documentation.
Completely. Starting from A to Z, as module 6, we do that in ETABS. Generally, ETABS, we have seen people, when they come for interviews, we'll give the plan which we have, which we teach for our students. They cannot even draw 15-20% of that. Because they are used to make some box-shaped, simple box-shaped plans, some standard things in X and standard things in Y. So, like railway bogie kind of things, simple kind of things. So that's what we teach as module 6, ETABS. And module 7, let us say a civil engineer has joined design company. He's working on STAAD or ETABS, whatever it is. You got for a beam, you got a bending moment of some 270. Then this guy should be able to understand whether 270 kilonewton meter bending moment for that beam is justified or not.
Yeah.
So the beam bending moment depends upon the span of the beam and then the load of the beam and the boundary conditions, of course. So this guy, he should be able to understand that 270 is on higher side, or a value, let us say some 20 kN meter is on lesser side for this span of the beam. So how to understand whether the results that we get from STAAD or ETABS is right or wrong? How to interpret the results? That is what you can understand if you know manual structural designs. That means given a plan of a building, how to label the plan, then how to calculate the loads on slabs, loads on beams, loads on columns, then the final load on the footing, how to make frames in X direction and Y direction, how to solve the frames based on moment distribution method, that single cycle moment distribution method, how to do the designs of slabs, beams, columns and footings using SP16. So this is what we teach as Module 7, practical manual structural analysis and design. So if they learn this, they can understand and interpret the results easily. If they don't have this knowledge, whatever they get the result from STAAD and ETABS, they have to blindly believe. So such kind of people cannot be called as engineers. They are basically called as operators. So this is what we did. This is very important module, Module 7. And then as module number 8, generally for civil engineers, people think that these people are very good in drawing plans of buildings. That's why, we see once anybody completes a BTech, their neighbors will come and, ask you to draw some plan in some 4 cents or 5 cents, in some 200 square yards may. They will tell, can you draw some plan and give us? We are planning to build some house. This guy doesn't know planning. He has learned one subject in BTech of the 48-50 subjects they have. He has learned one subject. But still, he cannot follow Vastu, or he cannot follow the exact dimensions and the placements. He doesn't know like architects. So to avoid this problem, to overcome this problem, we teach the civil engineers. We take 4 plans: east facing, west facing, north and south facing. We take some 250 square yards of plot, and we teach them right from like making a rough sketch basing on Vastu, how to make some simple plans, and then once they make rough sketches, how to draw that in AutoCAD in different layers, including furniture planning. So this is what we teach them in AutoCAD as module number 8. So module 1 we have covered frequently asked questions in structural engineering. Module 2 we have covered 100 questions asked in a job of a site engineer. And then module 3 we have, we'll be covering 100 questions asked for the job of civil engineer, that is the quantity surveying and then estimating and costing. And module 4 will be covering entire codes, IS 456, important clauses in IS 456, which the student has to remember and by heart. And then 875 and then 1893, SP16, SP22. This is module 4. And module 5 we teach STAAD A to Z, and then ETABS A to Z. And then module 7 we teach manual structural analysis and design. Module 8 we teach AutoCAD planning. So this is what we cover in all the 8 modules.
If some student gets some doubts regarding the course module, how we are going to clarify them?
See, when we teach a project directly in STAAD and ETABS, we expect the students to have basic knowledge in STAAD and ETABS. For example, the people don't have knowledge on STAAD and ETABS. What we're planning to do with these kind of people is, if they have zero knowledge in AutoCAD or STAAD or ETABS, we are going to have live classes on STAAD for 12 days, 12 days on STAAD and 12 days on ETABS and 12 days on AutoCAD and even 12 days on quantity surveying, which will be giving live, which they can log in Skype and they can listen to these live lectures. So for 12 days we are going to conduct live training sessions for these people. And these classes will be 6 classes in a year. That means every 2 months you will have 1 class. And this schedule will be generally in the evenings from 7 to 8. So that anybody can log in and then they can listen to live classes. And then they can listen to the STAAD projects. Meantime, they can finish off other modules other than STAT and ETABS, they can finish other modules which are not concerned to computers. So we have these live classes, and also they can, they can ask all the doubts. The online software system is in such a way, they can post any doubt to us. Like let us say some 1,000 people are learning STAT. 1,000 people have posted 1,000 questions. We'll be answering all these questions from this side. So they can see the thread and they can understand the answer. So that is how we are making the online system itself. So they can ask doubts and then we can answer them.
Back.
That's all.
So for all this 8 modules what you have told, so what is the fee structure for all that?
If any student comes to Hyderabad and if they take all these 8 modules, whatever we have discussed, the fees will be 34,000 rupees if they do all these things at the institute. But as a Silver Jubilee offer, 25th anniversary offer, we wanted to give this for very, very less fees. 34,000 fees, we are offering 85% discount on that. 85% discount. It's a real-time discount. It's not like increasing the fees and decreasing. Because for STAT itself, the fees anywhere across the country, normally for a standard training where they teach practically static analysis, earthquake analysis and window analysis, the fees will be somewhere from 8,000 rupees to 12,000 rupees if you see any training in metro cities where they teach to certain standard. So when STAT itself is 8 to 12,000 rupees and ETABS itself is 8 to 12,000 rupees and quantity surveying, you start from 8,000 rupees to 20,000 rupees quantity surveying.
And then manual design.
And then manual design is start again for the same fees. So all these things put as a package for targeting freshers 2017 and 2018 and 19 passed out engineers, and also for college going final years and third years. We are offering this for 85% discount. That means it comes to approximately 5,000 rupees. For all these 8 modules, 5,000 rupees plus GST, 18%. 18% GST comes to 900 rupees. So they have to pay 5,900 rupees only. So that's a fees for all these 8 modules. That's how it is.
And so once this online training is completed, what are the
post-training services?
Training services.
So once they learn these courses, for about 3 months or 4 months, whatever it is, we are going to give 2 kinds of services. One, along with the training itself, we make videos of how to answer questions in the interview. How to enter, how to sit, how to talk, and then how to answer questions which you know, how to answer questions which you are not sure, or how to answer questions which you are not completely aware of. So, and then the body language part. So these kind of things we'll be telling in the video itself. So how to tackle or how to handle interviews, how to behave in the interview room is what we tell in the video lessons itself online. That's the first service that we give. Apart from this, let us say every year some 2 lakh engineers are coming out, civil engineers, out of 15 lakh engineers that are coming out every year, graduating every year. Of these 2 lakh civil engineers, let us say some 5,000 people take this program with us as a part of this anniversary offer. These 5,000 people, once they take the certifications, will put their brief resume, in the sense name and then address details, phone number, email, with a photograph, and if possible with a 30 seconds video where they talk something about themselves, a small video. So we'll keep their brief resume in a website. That is civilfreshers.com. This is the site which we have taken, which we have purchased from somebody, and now it's blank. We have made it blank, and now we are going to develop a kind of system where we keep all the resumes and of this program, and these 5,000 people's resumes, biodatas will be open to more than 1 lakh companies. If you see the structural engineering companies or architects or builders or class A contractors in India, there is more than 1 lakh listing. So we have the listing with us. So these 5,000 people will be taken to, their resumes will be taken to these 1 lakh people. Like we'll be sending email to each and every guy. Like, if you want a site engineer, if you want a design engineer, or if you want a civil engineer, visit civilfreshers.com and recruit these people. So they'll be searching, like whatever state they want, say Madhya Pradesh, they'll go to Madhya Pradesh and say search. So all the people who have taken course, this particular course from, Madhya Pradesh will come. And those companies can send, any call letters or whatever it is, interview letters to these people. So we are going to act as a bridge between companies and students through the website civilfreshers.com. Civilfreshers.com. That's a website which we're going to start from November 2019. This site is not active now. We have just make it blank. Now nothing is there in the site. Once we get the data of all the students, once they complete the training, so after 1 or 2 months after launching, approximately from November, this site will be on. And these candidates can go straight away and they can upload the resume themselves. So they'll be getting interview calls from all the companies.
And is there any certification or something like that you have?
Yeah, naturally, because without certificate one cannot really tell in the resume that they have done this course. Like we'll be giving 2 certifications. One for structures. Master certificate program in computer-aided structural engineering is one certificate. It is based on all the structural content that we're teaching. The second certificate will be master certificate course in civil engineering. That is where we teach courses like site engineering concepts and then where we teach quantity surveying concepts. So that will give another certification. So the student will be getting 2 certifications. But they have to listen to all the videos and then we'll be verifying how many hours this guy has listened to the videos. So that we'll be understanding from our server. So once we have a cutoff, 60 hours or 70 hours, if he has crossed that many number of hours, then if he is applying for certification, then we'll be providing certificate for all these people. That's about certification.
How long it is going to be valid for a student to use all this online program?
This offer is basically valid till 30th of September 2019.
For registration?
For registration. People who have to pay this 5,900 rupees, they have to pay before 30th September 2019. And this offer is also limited. I'll tell why this is limited. Generally when we have money we can give to unlimited number of people. When we say online training, it is driven by number of users. When you take our server, the server that we have designed now, that we have now, that will take only 5,000 users at single point of time. So at any point of time it allows only 5,000 logins. So after that it becomes slow. So to avoid that problem, we can offer the solution to only 5,000 people approximately. That's how our server is tuned for. So the number of registrations are limited to 5,000. And then this offer is valid till 30th September 2019. And then we will give a user ID and password for each and every registrant from October 1st. From October 1st. And they can listen at any point of time within 2 years. Generally for any online training for a particular course, if they take Java or any AutoCAD or whatever it is, if you see any international portals or national level portals, it will be available only for 30 days to 60 days maximum for a course. So within the 60 days that, that online license, that is the user ID and password expires. But here we are keeping this open for 2 years, keeping final years in point of view and also 3rd years of civil engineering in point of view. Generally this is very much recommended for 3rd years also, I'll tell you why. Because 60% of the content even 3rd years can understand. And the remaining thing final years can understand. By the time they finish off their civil engineering, that is when they are in 4-2, that is final year last semester, they will be able to answer all the questions that they will be facing in the interview. So if they have campus interview in 4-2, they can easily get selected. So I recommend students that the college students in 3rd year take this program and it will be valid for a period of 2 years, so that they can read little because they'll have their semester examinations, mid examinations and final exams almost 4 times every year now. So they can study that and also parallelly whenever they get time they can study this also. So this is valid for a period of 2 years and we'll be starting giving this user ID and passwords from 1st October 2019. That's how it is.
And for registration and all stuff, whom to contact?
For registrations, if it is Pan India, for people who are speaking English and Hindi,
Yeah.
they can contact you.
Okay.
She is Riya Jain, she is a structural engineer, so she'll be taking care of that, you know. They can contact you directly, and I'll anyway flash your WhatsApp number and telephone number on the screen now,
Yeah.
okay? If it is Hindi and English, they can contact you directly. And if it is local, you know, Telangana state and Andhra Pradesh state, Urdu speaking people and Telugu speaking people, they can contact Naima.
Okay.
I'll be flashing Naima's number also on the screen now.
Okay.
So they can contact Naima if it is Andhra and Telangana. If it is Pan India, Hindi speaking people and English speaking people,
So they can contact me.
you know, they can contact you straight away.
Okay.
That's how it is.
Okay. If they are interested to join this program, so what next? What they have to do?
There is a website especially for this. ECC website is eccindia.org, where we display all our training programs, syllabuses and all. But this program is listed in a website, civiljobstraining.com. Civil, C-I-V-I-L, civiljobs, J-O-B-S, training.com. So this is the website, Civil Jobs Training.
Okay.
We have named this as Civil Jobs Training because the entire focus of this training is not training. The focus of this training is to get a job. So this is civiljobstraining.com. In this, it's a simple web page. At the end, we have explained whatever I've said now in the website. At the end, there is register. They can pick that button, register, where they'll be asking the personal information about their name, address and cell number and all, email and all, and they can immediately go to payment gateway. The payment gateway, they can choose the option of credit card, debit card, Paytm, and any other payment method they can make, and they can get the user ID and password once they make 5,900 rupees payment. So it is civiljobstraining.com. You have all the details.
So I guess being an engineer, I can understand this thing, that all the modules we are covering in this session is like what I was wondering to get after my BTech.
Yeah.
But I have to work in some company and gather that experience, and now I'm working like that. So basically it's a good thing for engineers that they are getting it in a package, that too in a very less amount.
Yeah.
So basically it was 34k.
34,000 rupees, and
Yeah.
they're getting only for 5,900 rupees.
900 is GST.
900 is GST.
Okay.
And it is valid for 2 years.
Okay, it's valid for 2 years. Yeah.
Valid for 2 years.
So college students are
Yeah.
also.
If they study this, there's 300 questions, and if they can listen to STAR and ETABS, especially this 300 questions, they can get through any interview.
Yeah, I think
So
so.
there's no question of it. So this is called Civil Jobs Training. And the site is civiljobstraining.com.